Later this afternoon, the City Council will introduce a series of bills, part of a comprehensive COVID-19 relief package. The aim here is to ease the burdens on those who are most affected and in some cases least able to fight off the effects of the pandemic. City Council Speaker Corey Johnson is spearheading this package of legislation. He joins me now via Skype. Thank you for joining us. We've talked about this a little bit in the past, and you've been working on this package of legislation. It's all ready to go now.
Yeah, it is. And today is a historic day because we're going to be having our first full council meeting since coronavirus really hit New York City, and we're not doing it at City Hall. We're doing it virtually via a Zoom webinar. And the package of bills, as I know you've been highlighting this morning, is really about protecting essential workers, protecting small businesses, helping our city's renters, opening up our streets to allow for more social distancing, getting homeless New Yorkers out of congregate shelters and into hotel rooms, prioritizing public health, as you see on the screen. So we have a big package of bills. We've been working on this for the last 5 weeks. Today we're introducing those bills. We'll start hearing them at the end of this week and next week, and I'm excited that we're finally taking some action to actually make a difference legislatively for New Yorkers that are struggling right now.
You know, in the same way we saw it coming with the nursing homes, in the same way we saw it coming with the jails, for the homeless shelters, we knew this was going to be a problem, but the system wasn't nimble enough to get ahead of it. What relief are you trying to offer there?
Well, before the pandemic struck, there were over 70,000 New Yorkers who were homeless. And so it showed just the massive issues we had in the city before this. Now, in the midst of this pandemic, we have many shelters which are congregate shelter settings, which means that people can't properly socially distance. There are about 19,000 New Yorkers that are in those type of shelter settings. So what we're trying to do is open up hotel rooms so that everyone can socially distance. And the bill that we're introducing today by Councilmember Steve Levin and myself would require that, which will make it safer for homeless New Yorkers.
One of the pieces of legislation I thought was interesting, I hadn't really considered it, was protecting essential workers, and particularly if there was a landlord trying to discriminate against an essential worker. If somebody said, oh, you work in a hospital, you can't come back to this building at night, or somebody says, you work at CVS, I'm not going to take your rental application. That piece of legislation specifically outlaws that sort of discrimination.
Yeah, I mean, we have been seeing too many examples of essential workers who have been our heroes throughout this incredibly painful time, who have been having to deal with issues like this, of people saying, you can't come back here, we don't want you here. So we are looking to protect them. We're also looking to actually increase pay for these essential workers, like a form of hazard pay. We don't want people to get fired unless there's just cause. We want paid sick leave for gig workers. So there's a series of things we're going to introduce today to increase protections for a bunch of workers throughout New York City, but particularly focused on these essential workers who have been heroic throughout the last 6 weeks.
Corey, is that the seat you'll be sitting in for the virtual Zoom City Council meeting?
It is. I will be sitting right here. We're doing our pre-stated press conference with all the press at 12:30, which we do at every stated meeting where I take questions. And then we're going to start our stated meeting at 1:30 with all 51 members of the City Council. Today, we're just voting on land use items and some finance items, things that we typically vote on. We're introducing the bills today that you've highlighted, Pat, and then we'll start having those hearings. This is the first time in almost 90 years that the City Council has ever done it this way, but I wanted to get back to work because there is so much to do for New Yorkers right now who are struggling.
Good to talk to you this morning. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. Stay safe. Good to see you.